Yeah, here it is, Friday already. Oh boy. And I've been part of the week on this Omarv TSR 160 Flail Mower. So this, I waited for some, what was I waiting for? Waiting for this, Willie brought over this part here to go on there. So then I fixed that up, and I was waiting until Monday so I could get some bolts to go in here and tighten them up. And I get some bolts, and then I sort of figured out a thing here to hold the roof down. Put a chain on there. This I did last week. Put a chain on here just for a safety. And stopped when we ended last time. We had a leak over here, and no more leak. The blue stuff works. So there we go. And I put a little bit of paint on this thing. I fixed up any cracks that were in this cover here. I did not do anything about this because I want to be able to get into a grease nipple in there. Anyway, that's it for this episode or today, and stick around, you'll see what I did, and please enjoy it. Come on back for more. Oh yeah, well, welcome back to the grind as usual. Okay, see you later. Yeah, so I'm back on the thrasher, that red thing out there. What do you call that? Mower. Anyhow, so I've got the seals in it. 1, 2, 3. I filled it up to this line here with oil. There's like that's a drain if it's sitting this way. It can sit either way. So this is the drain if it's sitting this way. This is a drain if it's sitting inverted. And the oil should come to the same, just below the level of this breather thing, which would be the top plug right there. That's where the oil level is. Anyhow, that's my guess, so I'm going to stick to it. This thing here, I put it on. This is like kind of a shear pin, I think. Who knows for sure. But I threaded the inside of that, and then I had another, like a bolt. It just so happened I had this hanging around, and it was, one end here was threaded, and it was skinnier at this end, and it just fit in there. So I took the threaded end, then I just put a couple of crosses in it with a grinder and put Loctite on it so it'll hold there. We hope. We'll just see, because it goes inside here, inside this tube, and it can't be hanging out too far or else it'll hit the side of the tube. Can't be having that. So that's on. Then as it goes together, we'll put these other bits on. I'm waiting for Willie to come. He's going to come and help put it together. But in the meantime, I'm going to go. I had my big stud of tap and dies out. But as it turned out, I didn't have to use them. I could thread pipe with that stuff, eh? Pretty near. I'll think about that. Anyhow, I didn't have to use them because I had a 1/2-inch one in the other set. So I'm going to get something to hold this together right here. We talked about that before. And put new bolts in here. And we talked about that before. So I got the bolt. I have the bolts. So we'll do that, and then don't know if I can get those ones off there or not, but I can give it a try. That seems to be okay. Oh yeah, and I was going to take this thing here, which is a grease thing, but it doesn't do anything anymore. I'm going to take that off of there, and then we'll make a grease nipple here and drill a hole in the bracket so we can get in there with a grease nipple. And same thing down here. We'll drill a hole in it so we get in there with a grease nipple. Because I don't know for sure whether that's a sealed thing or not. Anyhow, there we go. Yeah, it used to have this harness that went around and had grease nipples for everything. I don't know where this one, it must be sealed. anyhow, there's a grease nipple goes right in here, and a grease nipple goes right in here. Now, it used to have a little hose that came to here, so I made a fitting. That's a piece of a brake fitting that I threaded to fit this nipple thing, and it fits into whatever size that is. So that's good, and I'll make another fitting for here. And I think that's the only ones I have to really make for here. Don't know if there's supposed to be, should be another one somewhere on there, but that's turned into a sealed bearing now. Like, here's the old stuff that was in there, eh? Kind of a, neat design, but as soon as it gets a stick in there, it pulls it out apart, and then nothing ever gets greased. Oh dear. Yeah, so here's the brake fitting, and then I have to, I drill out that hole big enough to tap to put this screw into it, and then it all goes together. So, and there's a tap right there. So I'll show you this over here on the drilling machine. And that is just one size bigger than a 1/4 inch. I forget what number it is, 17/32 or something like that. Whatever that is. 13/32. 12/32 would be a 1/4, eh? Yeah, maybe. So 13/32. So first, now I'll just show you. Oh dear me. Get it set up here. I'll drop the door so that it doesn't get outside. Yeah, it looks like it's looking in the right spot. So first I'll take that drill out of there. That's the drill that I need to drill it to, right? Then I'll put this drill into it. And that drops it in so that it's kind of centered here. Then that drill goes through, so it's centered. Take that drill out. Put in the big guy. And theoretically, it's on the center of that fitting there. Theoretically. A little bit of juice on there. That came out nice. Look at all that metal, eh? There it is. Can you see that? Drilled out. Now I'll go over and do the... Now I'll tap it out. Tap it. So that's M8.1. Oil is your friend. Oil is always your friend. Trying to get it started straight is the hardest part of this whole thing. That seems to be going all right. there's a thing. Everything's different sizes here. This is a 7/16, and the other one's not. And oh dear, oh dear. And this is kind of a tapered thread, so anyway, there's the thing, and I'll show you how it goes on the car or on the buggy. Yeah, so right here. There. That seems to be what it's supposed to do. So I'll put some grease in those fittings there before we do anything else and see if they actually work. Yeah, so seem to take grease. Who knows? That one there's had some better days. It likely needs a new bushing in there. Anyway, and then this one here, it took grease okay because it came out over here. And there's one like on the other side, and it took grease because the came out some grease right there. So it says every 50 hours you're supposed to grease them. I don't know how keep track of that, eh? Yeah, I got a helper here now. I think that's going the wrong way, Willie.
Oh, I'm being filmed.
Yeah, you're going to be famous now.
How not to do it.
How not to do it.
How not to do it. Maybe that will control itself.
One came off. I guess that is how to do it. Try it now. Put a new one in before you take that one out.
Problem.
Oh, they're too big.
Yeah.
Ah, that's too bad. So, I'll have to see what we can do about... Anyway, here a bit. Oh, sorry. I'll get you caught up here a bit. Put this little thing here to hold that cover on. Same over there. Put one over there. Then now we're working on getting this differential thing or gearbox into the spot. Then we'll put together the rest of the stuff. Yeah, so this all comes together again. The bit goes on the spline, and the knee belt is connected to the hip bone and all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, there. I got lots done without much camera work because there's two of us here working, and it's a little bit difficult to use the camera when other people are around. Anyhow, so this, we bolted that together. Now what the plan here is, I'm going to take a chain and put a chain across here and have it so it unhooks here. And that'll let that go up and down a bit because it gets bashed underneath. Same here, I'll run a chain through here and hook it on here somehow so it's unhookable. Then I'm also going to put a safety chain from here to here, just in case this comes loose, you know, so it'll just hold it. And same on that side, I'll put a safety chain over here. This shaft here is all installed now. Looks like it's right where it's supposed to be. And it moves, but now you're fighting the whole thing in there. Anyhow, but it all moves. Then this tensioner here, there's this huge, humongous spring here. So the way what we handled that was, before we put any belts on, I'll back out here. Before we put any belts on it, we took a pry bar, pried underneath the tensioner, and then I have just a wood clamp and clamped this to here so that it would hold the tensioner up out of the way whilst we were putting the belts on, and that was quite handy to do that. Then when the belts, you just pry the belts onto it and then go on to the next one. Now these bolts here, that's a like that tightens and tightens and tightens and tightens. So you go through and tighten them all, and then the next one's loose and you tighten it all again. The way it's a pressure fit on the shaft. So I'll go again and tighten them once more before it leaves here. This thing here, sadly the cap was leaking, so we took this, had to take this out again onto the bench, took this cover off, and put this blue gasket goop underneath. I had black gasket goop underneath there before, which wasn't quite thick enough to stop it all leaking. So, but the blue stuff, there's no gasket there. It's just a gasket on the metal to metal. And then these bolts go in here and hold that seal from getting pulled out or bashed or whatever. And so that's there. And then on this one here, this goes over and holds the seal on, and then there's a stop bolt here to keep the shaft from going back and forth, and a stop bolt down at this end. It didn't have it was knocked off or something, so I put a new bolt there and welded, am I pointing there in the right place? Welded this onto it so you can tighten that in, and so that's good. We'll see. And no guarantees on that stuff. And it's got the new bearing. Remember I bought that new bearing? It's in there, and you tighten up the two. There's a couple of set screws there to tighten it to keep the shaft from coming out. And otherwise, but the shaft shouldn't move anyhow, because the interconnectedness of everything. If the shaft comes off, that's a troublesome day. Okay. Now this part here, we put big washers on here to hold it better, and we need to get some proper bolts for here and a couple of washers for that. I have washers for that, but we need a couple of bolts. And then that's pretty near it. Ready to go to the field pretty near. We'll see. And I have to still get there's a safety cover that goes over this whole thing. That grease nipple's there, and the grease nipple's down there. And so it's all set to go pretty well. Yeah, so Willie came out and spent the afternoon helping me, which is really, really good, because it's heavy duty stuff. This stuff, I can barely lift some of that junk, and Willie's a lot tougher than I am. So there you go. See you later. Bye. Oh, here we are. Yeah, so I'm back on the Omarv thing here. TSR 160 Flail Mower. Anyway, everything's heavy on this, so I want to just get this pole lined up here, so this has to lift up a tiny bit, so that's what's going to happen. We hope. We'll see what happens. That might be a tiny bit too much, but we'll check it out. Yeah, it's got to come down just a bit. See what happens here. Oh, back down a bit. Maybe it punches you around there. Try that. Anyway, I'll get that in there somehow or other. I may have to put a 5 in there. So, that's what I'm on. Yeah, there. that's all on. Now this, I got this chain here, and I'm gonna weld a piece of chain here to here, just like a loose chain, so that it's got a safety on it of some sort. And the same thing, I'll make it so that it'll come apart here to here. I'll make a thing so you can quick release on it somehow or other. Then get this thing here put back together and onto the machine, and it should be a working model pretty near. We'll figure out how to get in there and in there with a grease gun. That'll be just a matter of drilling a hole in the thing, I think. Anyway, there we go. Oh, I guess it's pretty near time for a new shade umbrella. Oh well, I'll use this. Go. I'll get another one. There we go. That'll work for now. Yeah, there I made this, and I put a hole in it so that one of these can go down through it. One of those things like that can go down through it, and then I'll weld that on there, and that'll be just the holder for it. Hey, see how that works out. Now, should I weld it on the inside or the outside? Or like that. That might be the right way to do it right there, and that way it'll hold best. We'll just see. That's not a bad spot right there for it. Yeah, so I'll make another one. First thing I do is flatten this thing. There, now that. Yeah, now it's flattened on that side, so I'll drill a guide hole through it. That's through. Now I'll change the bit up to a bigger size, and then first time I just drilled it straight through with this one, but a little bit, I think it's a bit tough on the bit, so I'll bring it up to a bigger size and then I'll do that. Yeah, so I started my day making a stuff for that, and then this mini lathe, mini mill here, it's binding, something binding in here, so I've got to clean off all this table, lay it on its back, and see if I can get it adjusted right so it's not binding anymore, because that's a pain, I'll tell you that. Anyhow, we'll see what I can do. And there's inspector number 1 coming to see me, and inspector number 2 figuring it out, right? What do you think, Tony? Is it going to be time to go in now? Yeah, it's time to quit and go in. Okay. Yeah, so instructions. And the instructions say adjust the head gib with 2 hex nuts here and here, right? So I did all that. And, well, sorry, here and here, this and this. I adjusted it as well as I could, and it still kept on binding. Then I read over here in maintenance, right? Where does it say it? Wait a sec, I'll find it. Yeah, here it says, coat of automotive wax applied to the milling table will keep the surface clean and prevent rust. So that's on the milling table, but somewhere greased and lubricated regularly. So anyhow, what I did then was I put some automotive wax on the backs on this thing here all over the place, and now it seems to go up and down without any trouble. It was binding before. Now it was binding mostly on this side that doesn't have the adjustment, right? But I think we're okay now for a while, so I'll just be happy with it for now, and I won't do any more. Now tomorrow I'll finish making my thing here, which was sadly interrupted. Okay, that's all for now. Bye. Yeah, so I persevered and I finished up my other bolt. So that'll work, we hope. We'll just see. And then the doggy is all set to go, but it's garbage day. I gotta get the cardboard out. Oh dear me. Yeah, so here I am back on the Omarv TSR 160. Now, we did get this put together here, but I'm going to put a chain from here to here just for safety. Same thing over there. And then down here, I built these little things here to hook a chain to, so I'm going to weld them to the deck right here. Did you see that? Weld them to the deck right there, and then we can just weld a chain on here, and that'll hopefully give it some, be able to move up and down, because that thing gets beat around in there pretty good. Okay. Yeah, that thing's welded on there. That thing's welded on there. Now I'll cut some pieces of chain. This will be the weak link in the whole system right here, but that's all right. We'll cut this off, that much chain there, and then that'll go on there, and I'll weld it to a washer. I'll show you. Yeah, there's that one there, and then I'll weld this on here, and that will make for just a safety chain, so it doesn't come running off. So I just load it on like that with the pliers, and then weld it up. Yeah, the chain's welded on. It's not a great weld because of there's coating on this thing, and it's coming off and creating some imperfections there. But anyhow, this is on here, and I put this sticky thing through there. Then I put this one on here. One more to go. You want to see it? See what happens here. There and there. Yeah, you get them both. Okay. Be a minute getting set up. Yeah, there now. Did I show you those? I got those nuts in there, nuts and bolts. There. Everything's tightened down. Now the only thing left to do is to try and fix up this thing here, which might be a bit of a challenge. We'll see. See what I can come up with. There, I've bashed that back into close to shape. The rest of it I can force over there, and we'll weld it on. Now, it used to have a piece that went across here with louvers in it, but I think that's okay to leave that open, because that's where I want to be able to get in with a grease gun anyhow. We'll just see when I put it back on. But I'll fix up this stuff here so that it's solid together, and that side over there so it's solid together. And then we'll see about replacing it on there. There. Oh yeah, now I think I'm pretty near ready to start welding this together. But what I'll do is I'll bolt it onto the machine, make sure it fits, then I'll start welding on it, because there's no point to weld it and then get it wrong. So that's what's going to happen. Yeah, so that's fitted on there all right, and I just got bolts in there loosely. Now I'll see if I can get this to just tack on there, and then tack on the bottom, and weld this up a bit here and fix that crack up. One other place I got to fix the crack up. But first I'll just get these tacked on so that they're going to be fitting on the machine. Yeah, that's that edge tacked and then that edge tacked on. So I'll go and take it off and do it on the inside there. Yeah, now it's on the floor of the shop here, so I'll just weld it up on both those sides, fix the welding, a couple of cracks in it need fixing. The one right along here, and then I'll see if I can get that come together. Okay. Yeah, you want to watch it? Yeah, they're welded up all the cracks and stuff in it. And the penetration, I don't know if you can see up there, can you see in there? Penetration looks pretty good. All the way along. Everything came out okay, so now I'll just pick and grind it off a bit. A little bit of work up here. I don't know what happened on the inside of that one. I think it's okay, yeah. Okay, so then grinding, and then I'll put some little bit of color on the pig here. Yeah, there it is. So I put a little bit of paint over this stuff that I welded just to make it look a little bit better. Color pretty near matches the old color. Anyhow, that would be the end of this TSR 160 Omarv thing. So what I did was I got chains on here. This is it done here. Chains on here and a little bit of a quick release thing there. Same here, quick release. Chain on there, chain on there. This thing here bounces up and down when it gets hit by stumps, and that's a solid connection there for a hinge. Now, we did some work on here, changing seals and rebuilding the spline at that end. No guarantees on the spline. It may or may not last. If it doesn't last, we'll order up a new one for inside here. That differential, or that gear, worm gear, is in good shape, nothing wrong with it. Then put it all back together and put the belts on, right? And then this covers it up. There's a grease nipple right in there that you can get to from here. I left that open for that reason. There's another grease nipple right in behind here, but it doesn't need, like it very often doesn't need grease. Maybe whenever that covers off, or whenever you really think about it. So, in fact, likely never, because it's not a bit of a wear bit, and it's a bushing that's already sort of worn. Anyhow, that being done, there it is, all set to go. Maybe it'll Willie will come and see if it's going to work or not. My tractor's not heavy enough to make it run. New bolts in here, or tighten these ones down. New bolts there. Same thing over here, new bolts here, and then retighten that one down with washers on it. So that makes this a bit more solid. Well, see how it holds together. Then I think with these things, they rattle so much, you got to just keep on tightening stuff up all the time. So got to go to work with a wrench in your hand. Okay, so that's the end of the Omarv, little bit of Omarv series here. 2-hole. Well, I got 3. I'm getting to be a bit of an expert on these flail mowers. Oh dear, I can't be having that. And so that's three episodes, 1 on the yellow one and 2 on this one here. And so anyhow, that's pretty good. That's done for now. Yeah, here it is, October 6th already. And another beautiful day, but there's a storm brewing over the weekend. Sunday might be kind of windy and rainy around here. There's a hurricane called Philippe. I don't think it's a hurricane, I think it's a tropical storm now, called Philippe, coming up, and gonna have a visit here on Sunday for a few hours. But it's not going to be too serious, like wind gusts up to 80 or 90 kilometers an hour and just normal wind around 50 or 60 kilometers an hour. So that stuff there we can usually take all right without too much of a fuss. There, so the beach is empty today and tide's fairly out-ish. And there's Buster hunting for whatever he hunts for on the beach. Stuff that smells good, hey? Or stuff that smells. There you go. See you later.